Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, joined once again by Ram CEO Mike Koval. Now, before we get too much into this interview, I got to tell you that Jill's behind the camera, and Jill believes that I have a man crush on you. Now, I don't know where that came from, but that's what's going on here.
Well, why do you think I'm growing out a little bit?
I just looking at this.
Well, I hear it's truck tough, and so I felt it was worth the part a little bit. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. So I want to talk to you a little bit about where Ram is currently, and kind of give a recap. So I get a question asked a lot. So let's say you're still building 1500 Classic.
Yes, we are.
Okay, and we're still TRX is taking off, right?
Yes,
that's being big. What kind of plants do you have? You have Warren, where you're building the Classic. You have Sterling Heights, where you're building the regular Ram, and then you have Saltillo?
Saltillo, yep. So Warren Truck Assembly Plant is where we build the Classic. We also actually build some versions of the Classic at Saltillo Truck Assembly Plant, alongside our heavy duty and our chassis cab models as well. So a lot of flexibility at Saltillo Truck. Of course, you mentioned Sterling Heights Assembly Plant, where we build, I still call it the all-new Ram 1500 DT, but when you revolutionize the pickup truck segment, it's and then on the van side, we have Saltillo Van Assembly Plant, which is where we produce our Ram ProMaster large van, which we just, of course, revealed the new 23 model year just last month at NTEA, and it's been very successful for us as we see the last mile delivery phenomenon really explode over the last couple of years. So, but that's the footprint.
Okay, so are you having any challenges building like the rest of manufacturers have with like semiconductors and laborers and parts? Is that still a challenge for you guys?
I think it's a challenge for everyone, and I would tell you that as we were coming down the stretch in 2021, late Q4, even the beginning of this year, we saw some stability. We finally found some calmer water. The net production throughput actually began to improve, and then it went backwards.
Okay.
And so over the last 30, 45 days, it has gotten really bad again. Not just for Ram or for Stellantis, but everybody. So I think our latest outlook is that hopefully by the second half of this year, hopefully we'll find some calmer waters. But really, we're thinking into 2023 before we find stable ground. But I have to, only because it means a lot. You pointed to the success the Ram brand has had. In 2021, in the round, was the best year in the history of the brand. Growing market share, profitability is stellar, pricing power. So I use this time to always thank our supply chain folks, our purchasing teams who work around the clock, and it's thankless. My God, is it thankless. But without them, that wouldn't be possible. And I think we're doing it better than the other guys, and that manifests itself in the performance results, of course, that we all see. Yeah,
so I did some sales reporting, and there's this big blue oval down in Dearborn, and it seems like you keep getting a little bit closer and closer and closer. Do you feel like you're right in position to really gain even more market share in this following year?
Well, I certainly do. I do. Part of it is because I think our between supply chain and purchasing folks are doing better than the other guys in procuring our fair share of chips. But it's about the product at the end of the day.
Right, sure.
And when we brought the all-new, you see the TRX here, which has really been a halo product for our brand. In fact, I would tell you, just as a tangent, that the interest and the demand for Ram around the world, we talk a lot about the US, of course, and that's our home market,
sure.
But the demand for our products around the world has never been higher. I attribute a lot of that to this. It was kind of like the piercing of the veil. Extraordinarily popular here, sold out for seemingly years. But we'll look for every opportunity in the market to continue to grow the brand. We talked a little bit about that off camera, and that's part of my job, is to find new opportunities where we can, and leveraging the global, I would say, synergistic opportunities that we have at Stellantis. I have access to the entire portfolio on a global basis. So when you think about small vans, mid vans, small pickup trucks, so none of it's easy, of course,
right.
But opportunities are all over the place, and we just have to take advantage of that. Look, this is a competitive game. I'm a competitive guy. It's no secret that we want to be number one. We want to be the number one commercial vehicle OEM in the world. Ram is a big part of that based upon our volumes, and so that's the mission. That's the mission. But the best part of it all is our fans win. The customer, when there's that level of competitiveness in the marketplace, ultimately at the end of the day, our fans win, our customers win.
Sure.
And so that's great.
All right, so you hit some buzzword things. People are going to freak out online. You said global marketplace, global access stuff. You said a small pickup truck, and you have an executive down in Mexico or Brazil, made some news. Now, I'm going to throw a couple things at you. You're going to first tell me that, Tim, we don't talk about future product. That's going to be number one. We're going to say the second thing.
I don't have to, because you just did.
We're always going to be talking about looking out for the customer, looking what the customer needs, number two. But what I really want to ask you is, when you're looking at these sales results and you see the competitors have a truck that is a unibody built truck, and they already have 20,000 sales in the first quarter, that that's kind of a wow moment, right? I mean, you're seeing that much volume. Is that get your attention, or where's the line there where it's going to be like, oh my gosh, this is growing so fast, we better really get in?
So two things. One, I think it's my job to be respectful of the competitive environment. It's my job to be concerned,
right?
But it's also my job to address those issues potentially, take advantage of the opportunities where it makes sense. And that's what our team is doing, again, on not only on a regional basis, because we understand this is our home turf, and we want to win here, and we want to be number one here. But I also want to embrace the global growth of the brand, right? And I think I would be doing our employees a disservice if I didn't. And again, we have access to all these different manufacturing facilities, technologies, platforms. So I think it would be disingenuous for me not to explore every opportunity, and I go market by market, segment by segment, to look for those opportunities. But I was actually in Brazil just a few weeks ago, and I could not believe the level of interest in the Ram brand, how strong the brand identity is there. But when we talk about where we are in the present tense, Ram has been on a wonderful ride, and we're humble and we're grateful for that. Product is fantastic, and we're right on the precipice of really transitioning into this era of heavy electrification. We're in full motion. We are in warp speed. What we think will bring the best-in-class solutions. There's another one. For when we bring our full BEV to market in 2024. But it's really important to be with the full knowledge of what our competitors are doing. That's allowing us, and the Ram Revolution, by the way, which we talked about in Chicago, where fans can come and join. So think of it as a backstage pass into this journey that we're on. But that's the mission, is to be number one, is to be the best, and with full knowledge of our competitors, based on what we know today on we call it our internal performance index. We will be.
Telling you, man.
We will be, because we know, and research tells us that truck owners are becoming more open-minded to heavy electrification, but not willing to sacrifice any of the core tenets: towing, payload, and now in this future case, range and charging time. And based upon what we know, we will be the best.
Okay, let me ask you one final question, because this is kind of a controversy throughout the marketplace we're seeing. So you have a mild e-torque system on your truck.
Yep.
It's really a mild hybrid. So recently, Dearborn came out with a full-on hybrid with power on board. You have Toyota came out with their own, which is a hybrid, but they made it for towing. And so when you look at hybrid technology in a full-size truck, I mean, are you on we got to build a great towing truck side, or are you saying no, it's hybrid's about fuel economy, dummy? This is what that's supposed to be. I mean, you always, agreeably, you want the best of both worlds, but it seems like you can set trucks up different ways. So where do you think that is?
You can, and I'm a firm believer, and I would say the philosophy that we're trying to promote and support within Ram is that electrification cannot limit choice for our consumers. And so as we're on full speed towards heavy electrification, we are going to have additional propulsion system solutions for our customers who are more concerned about range, for example. But it's really, I would say, when we kicked off Ram Revolution, that was really what it was all about. And by the way, the talk tour that we've kicked off, and we'll be in cities across America over the course of the year, actually bringing people in, talking to our actual engineers and designers about what their concerns are.
Yeah, that's true.
Tell us about real life. Now, of course, we think we know most of it, but it's about bringing them on the journey. And that's what this is all about, is the journey, because we know that we may not be first, but we can't be first and be behind in terms of our product offering, and we won't be. And we won't be, and we're making sure of that, not only through the Ram Real Talk, but also our other competitive intelligence that we have. So choice is really important. We're not abandoning ICE, but we will have a full portfolio of electrified solutions, not only light duty, but heavy duty. And of course, our first foray is the ProMaster BEV, which we actually start building next year. So we're right around the corner, and then off we go.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Mike.
Tim, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Heard it here first. 2029, we have running on water, and we have a 4-wheel drive, 3/4 ton truck. It's happening, right? Right. So hey, check more videos over here. Website down below. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you down the road.